The following BLTV program is brought to you by O'Flaherty Law. Please enjoy.
Greetings of the day, my fellow listeners, and welcome to another edition of Seizing Your Business. My name is Steve Eschbach. I am your host, and we have conversations with local business leaders to share their experiences and their best practices on managing and effectively running their businesses here in the greater Chicagoland area. So I am the owner of Transworld Business Advisors, and if you look closely, you'll also see a Transworld Business Advisors logo behind my guest, Matt Friscia. He's the owner of our LaGrange office. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But just to give you a background on a couple of things, Transworld Business Advisors is the largest and fastest growing business brokerage in the world. We now have 8 offices here in Chicagoland. If you expand that scope to include the upper Midwest, there's about 12 to 15 offices. And worldwide, there are well over 200 offices with 600 to 800 of owners and agents who assist business owners confidentially sell and match them up with qualified buyers. In addition to doing that, we can also assist business owners who want to expand via the acquisition model. And there's a couple of ways to do that. Of course, we can help business owners find strategic and financial acquisitions. We can also help business owners who may want to expand through the franchise model. We have a sister company that has done well over 1,000, maybe close to 2,000 franchises, everything from marketing to all the documentation needed from the franchise discovery document, operations manual, franchise agreements, and the like. And we can assist you do that at a very reasonable cost. And finally, in addition to all that, we also do franchise sales. So if you're an executive in transition or anyone else for that matter, looking to get into the entrepreneurial world and want to do it with an established business already in place, buying a franchise is the way to go. And this program, Seize Your Business, is designed to assist everyone here locally get a better sense on how to run their business. We're all willing and able to assist one another in terms of best practices and what works well and what pitfalls to avoid. We're going to talk a little bit about that with Matt. The other thing I want to mention to you that I am also a member of the Business Lounge here in Naperville. That is a quasi shared office space, if you will, located in downtown Naperville. Please reach out to me. I'm sorry, it's not downtown Naperville, it's in North Naperville. Please reach out to me if you want to find out more information about becoming a member, which is a great meeting spot for business owners to spend the day to catch up on email or socialize with other business owners who are in fact members. So enough with the intro. I'm delighted to have one of my business colleagues, Matt Friscia, here. He's a recent addition to the Transworld team. He is the owner of the LaGrange office. The interesting thing about Matt, and he can tell me more and you more about what this all is. He was a former business owner. He owned a franchise, sold that, and now he's representing other business owners with their exit planning strategy. So enough of me. Matt, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about you, where you are today, where you were previously, and we'll go further than that in short order.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think you summed it up really good. I guess, again, as far as the business side of things, I did have a senior care franchise for 5 years, and it was great business, wonderful business. I enjoyed the franchise model. I kind of like the cookbook, so to speak, that you get with that. And I really enjoyed more so the camaraderie amongst other franchisees. Everybody had a lot of the same questions. There was a subgroup I was involved with, a performance group that was tied to a program called Profit Mastery. So you could look at your P&Ls together, you could look at your balance sheets together. And we grew that significantly in a very short period of time. I love helping people. It's basically running a staffing company is what that's like, is extremely 24/7. So when I kind of looked in the mirror and said, okay, where am I going my next 5 to 10 years? I said, I don't know if this is it per se, but ended up using Transworld to sell my business. And that was a very positive experience. And it was almost 15 months that it took to sell my business, but through that process had already kind of looked at Transworld, done a discovery day with them and said, listen, if you can sell my business, I'm in after this. I had a career prior in corporate America that was B2B. So this is definitely a space that I'm comfortable with talking to business owners.
Sounds good, Matt. Now, one thing you didn't tell us, in your background, you have a little bit of media in your background, do you not?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So I worked in media sales for 15 years. A lot of time with the Disney company, specifically but the last stop that I had in media was with ESPN. I worked on the radio Disney side as well, and worked at some other stops as well. So that was really talking to a lot of business owners about advertising and their marketing campaigns and their marketing mix. So have sold everything from cable to digital to radio to broadcast television.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. But we're going to go even further back, rewinding the videotape even further. So tell us a little bit about your childhood. Where were you born and raised? What type of influence did your parents and your family have on you as a young kid with your tricycle, tricycling, pedaling down the street, if you will? What was going through your mind? What did you want to be when you grew up then? And how did that all kind of transition itself to where you are today?
Yeah, you're going way back, huh? On the Wayback
Dude.
Machine. I was born at Gottlieb Hospital in Melrose Park, and my parents were in North Lake for a little while. I grew up in the rough streets of Bloomingdale, Illinois, which is I'm just being facetious. Wasn't that rough out there, but yeah. And I will say, for me specifically, my dad passed when I was pretty young, and so I was a single mom that saw her working a tremendous amount of hours to, keep it together with us and my brother, just me and my brother. And also my dad worked extremely hard, sold suits at J.C. Penney, and was always a salesman. And his father, my grandfather, kind of became my default father in a lot of great ways. And he was also always had a retail store of some sort, always was working hard. I kind of learned through him because I was always just excited to work. I don't know. It was like always a thing and even him, when he had he had a furniture store, and he would hand me the razor blade and say, go cut those boxes back there and, sweep this floor and, fold these circulars. And, if you do that, you can pick out something in the store. And I just remember vividly this Bears clock, that I was like, God, that's the coolest thing ever. I mean, he must have got labor for about $2 an hour, actually. But no, it was great. It was a great experience. And same with my mom's parents too. They're I don't want to say it's the typical Greek people that own restaurants, but they were Greek and were always working in food service and work to the bone to the last day. Well, with both of them, actually, they worked extremely hard.
It sounds like there was an entrepreneurial influence on you, even though it does appear you started in corporate, right? You had corporate roles, even in the media and whatnot. So it seems like there was a little bit of that kind of bubbling inside of you early on. And then when you left media, what was the driver behind leaving your corporate executive role in media to owning your home healthcare franchise?
Yeah, good question. So we had promoted a franchise expo over and over on some of the stations that I was with. And, I'd go to the show, I'd walk the show and, kind of kicking the tires on some stuff. I did meet somebody, and I didn't even know I didn't even understand what he was doing, but he was, I guess now in retrospect, he's a franchise consultant. So he had this book and he said, okay, you're thinking about business ownership, like read this book, and give me a call. And I was just enamored by this because I will say I had a very good experience in corporate America, but what I was just disenfranchised with was no matter what you did, the goalpost was always moved, right? So, okay, you made your sales number, but we changed something. So we're gonna, change some things. So maybe it's a little harder to get your quarterly bonus or whatever it was. Or, they would know every year that our fiscal year, in this case, it was in October, but we never have the comp plans ready, when it was October. And it was like, why this comes every October. Like what's the deal there? Like it's so, and over time, again, it's just things that are out of your control. And I didn't like the fear of like, oh gosh, I just don't know what's going to happen next, or what, whatever whim they're going to have to, I'm not saying fire anybody. I mean, I love the sales side because the harder you work, the more you make, right? The harder you work, the more you make. But I just didn't like the, you had to always be concerned about what shoe was going to drop. Frankly, the biggest reason is driving downtown. I live in the suburbs. It was just awful. So, you try to get to an 8:30 sales meeting, you leave at 6:30. You think that's enough time? Not always. Not always. You got to really, really, leave quite early to make all that stuff downtown. And then when you're trying to leave, like it's Labor Day weekend today. So if you try to leave and on a Friday and you think you're leaving early at 2:00, there's still traffic at 2:00. So anyway, just people from Chicago would understand that more than anything else, but that certainly contribute to it as well.
Yeah. So one of the interesting things about your background, Matt, is that you have been an entrepreneur a couple times, and both of them were with franchises. So I know there are many people out there. It seems like franchises are like, if you can remember way back, George Steinbrenner, you either love them or you hate them. And I think the same is true with a franchise. You either love the franchise or you hate the franchise. Now, you and I both own a Transworld franchise, and we both know that there are very many guiding principles to help us be successful, but we do have a little bit of leeway with which we can help our business development efforts, how to interact with customers. We do that a little bit differently because with 200 offices worldwide, there are a little bit different regional things that we have to become aware of. But
Sure.
You also own another franchise. And I don't know if there's a way you can generally summarize what you would consider the benefits of a franchisor in assisting you be successful and how you're able to complement that with some of your own business development efforts. I know that's a long-winded question, but franchise there for support. They give you some leeway to be successful on your own here locally. Is there any way you can comment on that for our audience?
Yeah, no, I love this question more than anything else, because a lot of people say, well, why'd you get a franchise? You got to pay those franchise fees, and you got to, it's you're buying into this thing, and why don't you just do it yourself? Why don't you just do it yourself? And it's like, okay. But for instance, I was going into home care. Now it was a business I could do with my mom. She's a nurse. She's an LPN. She has a tremendous amount of experiences at hospitals and worked with hospital administration for a very long time. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, we thought, okay, wow, she might be our biggest referral source to be able to, she knows all these doctors and everything. No, what I got was, you can focus on whatever your strong suit is. My strong suit was sales, right? So I can call people, I can set up meetings, I can, say, hey, how great we are, and please try to use us and really care about what we're doing with our clients and our employees. All the back end stuff that I don't want to do, I don't want to put together, was in a box ready for me with the franchise. So for me, even though I was in marketing and I kind of enjoy that side, I don't have time to put together these neato little marketing things. I don't have time to, look at my website 6,000 times and make sure it's done. I don't have time to put together social media posts, over and over and over again. And people say, well, you just get people to do that and you scale. Right. But the fees that you paid to the franchise, whether it's the same or less or more, there's people that have done this hundreds of times. So it is a proven method to say, and I'll be the first one to say, I fought the franchise for the first year. I was like, nah, you don't do it like that. You do it like this. This is how you do marketing. And the only way a franchise works, and again, it depends, because there are good franchises and there are not so good franchises. So let's just put that out there. I must have picked a good one, because once I started following the franchise model, things started happening. It's like I wasted a lot of money doing things that I thought were correct. And finally, the franchise is like, would you just do it our way? Would you just do it the way that we're telling you to do it? And then all of a sudden the phone started ringing more and more things started to happen. So I was able to focus on, for me, we call it marketing and healthcare, but sales. And then everything else was on the back end. Now, let's say you're not a strong salesperson, you're a good ops person or whatever it is. Fine. But they're giving you a path to say, when you get to this amount of money, hire this person. When you get to this amount of money, hire this person. And they call it scaling, right? So if you can scale your business, you'll do great. You'll do fine. It's just a matter of, a lot of people get stuck where, I'll say from my personal experience with the senior care, they get stuck. Well, I'm going to deliver the care because I'm a nurse and I'm going to get out there. And that's wonderful, but that you'll never succeed doing that. That business isn't built for you doing the care, you being in the business. It's built for you building a staff of people to help you get to the finish line in regards to working on the business versus in the business. And they say that a lot, for any business, any franchise for that matter. But again, I had a call every week with a franchise person. What's going on? How you doing? Who did you go see? Like, what's your plan this week? Let's look at your analytics. They force you. Here's the other huge thing that we see every single day. They force you to do your P&L every month. Yes, there's a reason for that, because they want to get paid and they want but they have a system where they want to map your accounts. They want to see everything that you're doing, because there's a reason for that. It's advantageous for them, but at the same time, the franchises I work with, it's great. It's like point, click, click. Here's my P&L. Here's my balance sheet for the whole year. A lot of independents, if they're living out of the business or doing whatever they're doing, that's fine. But it's just, I see more so that people aren't as diligent or as disciplined to keep their records if they don't have somebody kind of looking over them to say, what are you doing over there? What's happening in your territory per se.
So out of all that you said, Matt, I can pull out a couple of things that are applicable to any business owner to be successful. Number one is accountability. You have to have a plan. You have to act on the plan. The other is analytics and metrics. You have to have something to shoot for. You got to meet your analytics, because if you don't, you won't be successful. And those two concepts right there, it doesn't matter whether you're a franchise or not. If you're a business owner, you're going to do those things. The other concept you talked about that was really critical is scalability. And you should not expect to conquer the world. And you and I both use that term because that's what we want to do. You can't conquer the world by trying to accomplish everything in a short order of time. You got to be able to methodically, do the many successes and move from there. Am I right about that?
100%, 100,000%. I had this little Excel sheet, which sounds really dumb, but you'd pull all these reports from this platform that we had. But I would diligently every Friday, it was like my homework, right? Here's how many referrals we got. Here's how many people we hired. Here's how many applications we got. Here's was our closing percentage on. We did this many assessments. We had this many assisted living placement. I guess whatever it is that you had, and I just diligently every Friday, I was like, okay, I gotta track this stuff, because you could see from a mile away. If you weren't going to see people, it may not affect you today, tomorrow, next week, but 4 weeks from now, it was like, oh yeah, that's gonna hurt, if I don't do that correctly. So, yeah.
So a couple of things I want to go through. So you just sold a business and acquired Transworld, right?
Yep.
So from your going through the process of selling your business, and then, of course, acquiring Transworld, there has got to be some things. And again, we don't have to focus on franchises. We want to talk about maximizing value. You're selling your senior home healthcare business. You want to make sure that you get top value. What were some of the things that you did in prepping yourself for sale then that carries over to you to advise selling clients to do the same? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So biggest thing for me is you start to realize all the stuff that was, I'll get to that later, all of a sudden becomes a very large thing that is going to affect the value of your business. So for instance, we had a problem with overtime. We had a problem with margin, meaning that, okay, we were making money and, we were billing a lot, but our margin was pretty small. So I could have gotten more out of my business if I just would have focused on what margin a little bit more and was able to curve that before getting ready to sell. But at the same time, when I finally decided I wanted to sell, I didn't stop working. I just kept growing. I mean, we grew the most we ever grew in that last year before I sold my business. So that's the other part of, going through that process. Is it's not like, okay, well, now let's just sit and wait and start closing things down. No, people want to see businesses that are doing this, they're going up like this. They don't want to see businesses like this or kind of going down, because a lot of people, I think, as you're seeing and I'm seeing, they get to us when it's too late. It's, I got this business. I've been doing it for 30 years. My kids don't want it. I'm kind of tired and I just want to get out. Okay, that's fine. But, if everything is not as valuable anymore and it's still just you running around doing whatever you're doing, that's not going to be as valuable. People want to buy cash flow. So the better you can get your cash flow or seller discretionary earnings, as we call it, going on, that's what they buy into. And a lot of people don't, well, I got this name and I got this phone number and I've been in business for 60 years. And my dad had this business. That's wonderful. That is, and kudos to you for, being in business for that long, but people want to see what the bottom line number is. Unless, of course, you might get lucky. There's some people that watch your particular field and, might see value in that to some degree, but there are all types of buyers and all types of sellers. The only final thing I'd say with this is I was shocked how much happens once you get an offer. It's not even about it's putting it out there and getting some showings, just like a home where you talk to some people and, yeah, I'm interested, I'm not interested. But until you actually get that offer, and what happens when you get that offer, the punch list of things to do once you get that offer is tremendous. And it's, the back and forth, and did you do this, and they did this, and asset purchase agreement, and all these other different things that you're going to go back and forth with. And I don't think anybody has a clue. And somebody explained it to me too the other day, and I really had to slow down, because all these things that's going to happen in your life, right? You're going to get married, these big life things. You get married, you're going to have a kid, maybe, and maybe you're going to sell your business if you have a business. Those are like the biggest things that are going to happen in your whole life. So I think when people don't understand certain things that maybe we think are second nature to us because we're doing this on a regular basis every day, to sort of slow down and explain that to a business owner about, this is what's going to happen first, this is what's going to happen second, this is what's going to happen third. And you have to be ready, and you have to have a good lawyer in your corner, a good accountant in your corner, to really get through this process if you want to get the best value that you want. Certainly there are deals that aren't that complicated, that happen quicker. But for whatever it's worth, those are all huge things to consider.
Yeah, and one other thing I think I'll add, Matt, and I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with me, that we can meet with any business owner, even if the horizon to sell is 2, 3, 4 years away.
Sure,
Because
even better.
yeah, it's critically essential, because you want to make sure all your paperwork or your organizational document, you want to make sure all of that is ready to go. Because the quicker that is, the easier it is to go to market, and the easier it is to sell your business. I've had businesses that have sold within 2 weeks because everything was right smack in order. We knew where everything, the financials, the operating manual, the data on the employees, the data on the customers, everything. It's amazing. Like you said, there is a ton of stuff that falls into place once the offer comes in, but you can prep for that well in advance, so that when that time comes, it's not like you're rushing to the finish line. It's that you're doing it because it's already there. Am I right about that?
100%, 100%, absolutely.
So, to respect your time, our audience's time, I know you got an appointment right after this. I asked you a few questions, maybe a lot of questions. You answered them very well. Thanks so much. Is there anything that we haven't covered in the questions that I asked that you want to make sure our audience knows?
No, again, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think, yeah, a lot of people don't know that we exist. People don't know that business, brokers are even out there. So, like I said, I would encourage somebody to, like you said it best, get your stuff in order quickly. Talk to one of us, or somebody like us. Doesn't even have to be us per se, but about what your exit strategy looks like if you're going to do that. And then more so, like you said, on the buying side too, I just showed a company to somebody yesterday. The guy kind of said, it's really, to put all this marketing money out there to try to gain customers, maybe it's just easier for me to just buy a company that has a bunch of clients already in it, and a bunch of stuff happening. And I think that's really easy, very smart, for all this money you'd spend in marketing. And then the only other final thing is, people think it's this gigantic thing, where it's like, oh my gosh, that seems so daunting to run your own business. But there's money available out there. Money's very cheap right now with the SBA and everything that ties in with that. So if you don't think you can do it, people like us also have a lot of funding sources as well to get into that. And whether it's, I always say it in 3 or 4 different ways, whether it was a guy like me that I didn't have enough money to buy something that had some good cash flow, so I was going to start from scratch and give it a go, or somebody that does have that money to buy into cash flow, or somebody who just is curious about it, like, give us a call, and happy to at least walk you through to be a resource, I should say, more than anything else.
Absolutely. I think that goes a long way in prepping you for, and again, it's not just to prep you for sale, it's to prep you to maximize the value of your business. Now, you may also need the value of your business in terms of financing and expansion. It doesn't have to be an acquisition, but the more accurate, the more complete, the more developed everything is internally, the better you'll be, no matter what your next plan will be going forward. Is that about right?
100%, 100%. I just think a lot of people are, shocked when they say, well, that's all it's worth. It's like, well, no, I'm not. You can list your business or whatever you want. You can sell it whatever you want. It's your business. But I just think, if you want to we say this all the time. We don't set the price. The market sets the price of what's going on out there. So we have comps just like homes to look at businesses and what they're, what on average they're potentially getting. So use this for that. Use this just for the knowledge and information for your particular sector of business or whatever you're doing.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So last but not least, Matt, where can we go find out more information about you, your specific team, which is part of the bigger Chicagoland team? Where do we go to find that out?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So it's just T-World. So T is in Tom world.com/LaGrange, like LaGrange, Illinois. So LAGRANGE, or just LaGrange@tworld.com if you just want to email us and see what's going on over what we have. So, but I think basically with Transworld is a lot because of all these offices, there's a lot of listings and a lot of buyers and a lot of stuff going on right now. So the market is quite good to sort of explore all this.
That'd be great. Thanks so much, Matt, for your time. Listeners, thanks again for joining us on another edition of Seize Your Business. There'll be plenty of more, and you can go and check out Matt's interview down the road, 3 times. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And again, we're just trying to help you maximize the value of your business for whatever your next phase of business development would be. So audience, thank you much. Matt, thanks for your time, and we'll go do it again sometime soon.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for doing this.